is possible to become free from debt, financial worry, your boss, and your zip code. You can start living a life you love, but first, you need to find your freedom. Using financial independence and lifestyle design principles, you can create the life of your dreams now. There are many paths to freedom, and that is what this podcast is all about. My name is Becky from 20free.co, and I am the host of the Find Your Freedom podcast. In this episode, I'm going to walk you through the ins and outs of completing a no-spend challenge. First, what is a no-spend challenge? A no-spend challenge is when you challenge yourself to not spend in certain categories for a certain period of time. You can do it for a week, a month, or a year, and you can customize it to fit your needs and goals. Depending on the length of the challenge, you'll need to spend money on necessities, but even spending on things that you would consider necessities can be reduced during a no-spend challenge. You might not be able to reduce your rent, but you could reduce your food spending by eating pantry items instead of grocery shopping. The great thing about no-spend challenges is that they are completely customizable. You decide the length of time and the rules for the challenge. Once you commit to those rules, you just have to check in daily and make sure you're sticking to them. Want accountability and guidance to help you complete a successful no-spend challenge? Join the 20-free no-spend challenge at 20free.co/no-spend. You'll get a series of emails with encouragement, printable resources, and tips for prepping for and successfully completing a no-spend challenge. Why would you want to do a no-spend challenge? No-spend challenges are a great way to help you save money. Maybe you're trying to break the cycle of living paycheck to paycheck and save a small buffer this month. Or your income is limited and you're trying to see how much you could stretch a dollar right now. Or you're saving up for a purchase or a big debt payment and just need that little extra push. Or you want to interrupt your impulsive spending habits so you can become a mindful consumer. Whatever your reasons, there are a lot of benefits to doing a no-spend challenge. The biggest benefit is that you get a chance to reflect on the triggers that urge you to buy. When you just want a beer after a hard day of work, or a midday vending machine snack, or a pick-me-up shopping trip to the mall. A no-spend challenge shines a light on what is causing these urges. When you decide not to spend money to relieve or avoid difficult emotions like stress, boredom, or sadness, you get a special opportunity to develop healthier coping mechanisms that don't involve spending money. Another benefit is that not spending money opens many opportunities to become more creative and resourceful. Instead of buying something new when an item breaks, learn how to repair it. I always get to practice my sewing skills during no-spend challenges. If you need to give a gift, you have an opportunity to create something unique and handmade. When you find yourself in need of a very specific item, you can get resourceful and reach out to your family or neighbors to see if you can borrow one. Buy Nothing groups on Facebook are also great for this. No-spend challenges can help you be more eco-friendly too. Borrowing instead of buying things that we won't use very much is better for the environment and your wallet. So is fixing things instead of replacing them. During a no-spend challenge, you can also seek out money you were wasting and stop the flow. You could save hundreds looking through your bills and canceling subscriptions that you don't even use. I like to think of no-spend challenges as pattern interrupts. Often, we get into patterns of living and buying that become so second nature that we don't even question them anymore. By putting the brakes on and interrupting our normal spending patterns, we get an amazing opportunity to reflect and find places that we were spending money that don't align with our goals, and then stop spending that money. So, how do you do a no-spend challenge? There are 5 simple steps to successfully completing a no-spend challenge. The reason you're challenging yourself, by the way, is because gamifying something makes it more fun and more likely that you'll stick to it. Step number 1, commit to the challenge. First, you want to know why you're doing the no-spend challenge. Do you have a particular spending habit that you want to break? Are you trying to figure out how you manage to spend your whole paycheck every month? Or do you need to save money for something important? Define your why so you can keep it in mind if the challenge ever gets tough. Next, you'll want to get your spouse or family on board. If you're doing the challenge on your own, just let them know what you're doing and why so they can support you. If you want to do it as a group, it helps to agree on the why and decide on some benefits together so everyone is on board. Then go through the rest of the planning process with your spouse or family so that they have input on the rules. Step number 2, set your time frame. Decide how long the challenge will be. Remember, the only real requirement is that your no-spend challenge is, challenging. No-spend days are a great way to test this out. You will need to plan ahead, and it will be a good opportunity to test run some rules for a longer challenge. Even one day of not spending will help you identify some unconscious spending habits. No-spend weekends require more planning and also have a bigger payoff. It's often harder to not spend on the weekends than it is during the week, so this adds an additional level of challenge. No-spend weeks can go from Monday to Friday or Monday to Sunday. Be sure to use your weekend before the challenge week to prep everything that you'll need. Not spending for 5 to 7 days means you can possibly do the challenge with no exceptions. If you have your food and gas figured out the weekend beforehand and no bills due that week, you could potentially spend absolutely nothing for 5 to 7 days. No-spend months are something you can work up to or just dive right into. The first no-spend challenge I did was a month long, and while there was a learning curve for the first week, I was able to really get into the swing of not spending for the next 3 weeks. Doing a whole month of not spending gives you a lot of time to explore where your spending urges and triggers are, as well as unnecessary spending habits. Since it takes about 21 days to build or break a habit, a no-spend month can be long enough to get rid of a bad spending habit. You could even do a no-spend year. I mean it. People have blogged and written books about it. Obviously, there are exceptions when you don't spend for a year, like you'll still need to buy food. But challenges on this scale can be completely life-changing. 2 books on the topic are The Year of Less by Kate Flanders and The No-Spend Year by Michelle McGaugh. Step number 3. Write the rules. There's 2 main ways to start writing your rules: by deciding what you can spend on or deciding what you can't spend on. The first way is to decide what spending is allowed, such as gas and groceries. These things are the exceptions to your no-spend challenge. Anything that's not on this list of exceptions is not allowed. You can list out the categories that you're allowed to spend in and how much you plan to spend in them. You can also write out specific planned purchases. If something doesn't make it on the list of pre-approved purchases, you're going to have to wait until the challenge is over to purchase it. The other way is to exclude certain types of spending. Do you have certain items like eating out or shopping at Target that really seem to bust your wallet? Do you have daily or weekly spending habits that you're not sure are in alignment with your goals? Maybe you want to challenge yourself to no impulse spending. Whatever it is that you explicitly want to stop spending money on, list these things out as the rules. Step number 4, get prepared. A major part of most no-spend challenges is meal planning. To avoid going out to eat or picking up convenience items, you'll want to know what you're planning to cook at home during the challenge. Then you'll want to set aside the appropriate grocery budget or purchase those items before the challenge starts. You might even want to do some meal prep as well. You'll also want to tell your friends and family that you're doing a no-spend challenge, so they're aware and won't tempt you to spend money. Maybe they'll even opt to support you by doing a potluck instead of a dinner out, or a free hangout instead of a paid activity. It will also be important to get the necessities. These are things that you know you will need during the challenge. Maybe it's food or pantry staples like flour, pasta, toilet paper, soap, or dog food. By getting them before the challenge starts, you can avoid a tempting trip to the store during the challenge. You can remove temptations by unsubscribing from sales emails and even blocking your favorite online shopping portals using a browser extension. If you want to avoid commercials, consider recording your favorite shows on DVR so you can fast forward, or using a commercial-free service like Netflix during the challenge, or even turning off the TV altogether. Step number 5, learn about your spending habits. A no-spend challenge is a wonderful opportunity to start understanding your spending habits. It can be really helpful to use a journal to keep track of when you feel the urge to spend during your no-spend challenge. Note where you are, what you want to buy, and your mood when the urge to buy something strikes. If you're able to use the no-spend challenge to stop spending money impulsively or out of habit, you can start to align your spending with your goals and values. When you use a no-spend challenge to learn more about yourself and to break bad money habits, you can create a foundation to save even more money in the future. Those are the 5 steps to successfully crushing a no-spend challenge. Now that you know how to do a no-spend challenge, here are 5 tips to help you make your next no-spend challenge a success. Tip number 1, get super specific with your rules. The more specific you are with your rules at the beginning of the challenge, the less confusing and stressful it will be while you're in the middle. The less general you are, the less chance there is that you'll read between the lines or find a loophole in the rules that you made yourself, remember, to give yourself permission to spend on something that you had originally planned not to. Tip number 2, plan for the money you'll save. You'll need to plan for the money that you'll save. What is the purpose of this money? Are you going to reward yourself with something fun at the end of the challenge? Is it going to bulk up your savings or emergency fund? Or are you planning to make a big purchase that the challenge is helping you save for? Having a plan for this money will make sure that you don't fall back into poor spending habits with additional money at the end of the challenge. Tip number 3, use up consumables and gift cards. Put those gift cards from last Christmas to good use. Either use them at the store or sell them on a website like Cardpool to get 70 to 90% of their cash equivalent. That's better than nothing if you never would have used the card anyway. Then you can use the cash you earn to pay for your allowed categories during the challenge, saving you even more money. Also, use up those trial and sample size containers before you go out and buy more soap, shampoo, or lotion. Take stock of what you actually have, whether it's a secret stash of travel-sized toothpaste or a pile of half-used soaps, and consolidate them to one area so you can use them all before you buy any more. Tip number 4, don't tempt yourself. If you don't want to spend money, stay out of the places that give you the urge to spend. This means that the mall is probably not the place to hang out during your no-spend challenge. You'll also want to stay off your favorite online shopping websites and even plan to spend a little less time with your spendy friends. Tip number 5, make a list of free things to do. By making a list of free things to do, you'll be able to fill the time you'd normally spend shopping, and you'll have go-to ideas when someone wants to hang out. Here are a few ideas. Go on a hike or a walk. Play board or card games. Hang at the beach. Explore a state park. Use the local library. Attend free local events. Work on craft or sewing projects. Play at the park. Camp in your own backyard. Declutter your house. Read a book. Exercise outside. Have a picnic. Borrow a movie from a friend. Or host a dinner party or potluck. Those are my top 5 tips to make sure you crush your no-spend challenge. By preparing ahead of time, getting specific on your rules, and making sure you avoid temptations, you'll be well on your way to a great no-spend challenge. I encourage you to plan a no-spend challenge today. If you've never done one before, feel free to start small. By taking a break from spending, you'll be able to create healthier coping mechanisms, practice creativity and resourcefulness, stop habitually wasting money, and be nicer to the planet. Head to the show notes at 20free.co/episode 33 to get a free no-spend challenge checklist. You can also join the 20-free no-spend challenge, which will give you accountability and guidance to help you complete a successful no-spend challenge. All the details are on my website at the word 20free.co/episode 33. Do you want to finally feel good about your finances and have a stress-free plan to create a life you love? It's time for you to reach your biggest money goals, like paying off debt, building up savings, and using your money to create your ideal life. As a money coach, I will help you gain clarity about what freedom looks like for you, develop a strategy to get there, and overcome your money roadblocks on the path to financial and lifestyle freedom. Let's hop on the phone. During our free 15-minute coaching call, we're going to develop a vision for your ideal life and how your finances fit in. Not only are you going to get massive clarity, you're also going to get a free spending plan spreadsheet just for booking the call. Visit 20free.co/moneycoaching to get your free money coaching call and budget spreadsheet right now. That's the word 20, free.co/moneycoaching. If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure you're subscribed to the Find Your Freedom podcast on whatever app you're using to listen to this episode. Do me a favor and also leave a rating and review on Apple Podcasts. Go to 20free.co/iTunes to be redirected to the page on Apple Podcasts where you can leave your rating and review. I really appreciate it. If you think this episode would help someone you know, please share it with a friend. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of the Find Your Freedom podcast. My name is Becky. You can connect with me on Instagram and Twitter at 20freeco and sign up for free resources and email updates at www.20free.co. That's the word 20, FREE.co. I'll talk to you next week on another episode of the Find Your Freedom podcast.